historic night in Jefferson. About 4 years ago at the Des Moines Forge, there was, right after the grand opening of that forge, we were at an event, and I was sitting there talking about, we're going to open one of these in rural Iowa. And that's when Chris Deal, sitting there drinking apple cider, not hard, was his eyes perked up, and he goes, "You ever visited a little town called Jefferson?" And how's my distance from the mic? Is this okay?
Yeah.
Nope, harder to hear. Is that? Thank you. Yeah, tell us. Is that better? Yeah. Okay, thanks. So 4 years ago, after the Des Moines Forge grand opening, I was talking about the idea of opening a rural forge, and Chris Deal was there, and his eyes perked up, and he said, "Have you ever been to Jefferson?" Which I said, "No." So Chris scheduled a visit to come out to Jefferson, meet the community leaders, and that was the beginning of what we're here today to celebrate. So, good job, Chris. Thank you. So over the last 4 years, if you think about all the things that had to happen for this to come together, right? This was not a small thing. You have government, you have nonprofit, you have education, you have business, all coming together, rolling up our sleeves, saying, we're going to make this happen. So it's really been an inspiration to witness organizations like, they crossed uncommon boundaries, like DMAC and Iowa Central. If you're not familiar with this, right, but it's an interesting area we're in with the two community colleges, but you'd never know it. Those two work together like they're one, and they always, when we're together, talking about what's the right thing to do for the residents, right? When we talk about a rural scholarship or the program, and if you think about what they've done 9 months ago, there was no software development training in this area. And now we have a 30-mile radius, 11 high schools, 39 communities with a very high-quality collegiate software development education. So great job, DMAC. And you're sitting next to each other, too. Thanks, Chris. I would love to have taken time to just thank everyone, so many community leaders, but I do want to take a second to say thank you to everyone who contributed to this, right? This is when you have a dream come true and so many people come and rally to your side to make it happen. So if you would, just take a second. I want to thank everyone who's helped with this. Well, hopefully by the end of tonight, and tonight, this is only scheduled for 3 more hours. It's my only joke. The residents here, you'll again, somebody stick their hand up if our mouth's getting too far away and you can't hear. That the residents here will say, people have come to help, right? Because that's one of the things I hear in rural communities when I come in is they go, I never ever expect anybody to come and help. So the help coming here is how do we bring digital era technology, education, jobs in the full gambit so people don't have to leave your hometown to be part of that economy. The decline of rural communities has been an increasing problem for our state, our nation. I think we're all in this room familiar with that. I hear statements all the time. I've been told in this endeavor that you're wasting your time. Rural is like the dinosaurs. It's just going to perish. There's nothing you can do about it. But the people here behind me tonight who've come to speak have a different perspective on that and a very no constraints mentality. If you had a forge tour today, the first philosophy of the forge is called no constraint thinking, and that means when you hear of a problem, the first thing you say is, what's the value of solving that problem? And once you understand the value, you can go, that's a problem worth solving. And you say, what are the possibilities? How might we go about that? Instead of looking at all the reasons of why it's hard to solve, what are the constraints of solving it? And by doing that and being possibility oriented, we release our inner creativity, and the output of creativity is innovation. This is not the first time this community has led the nation in innovation. With the innovation of automobiles, it became really quickly understood that the horse and buggy, the roads for them, was not going to work for automobiles, right? It sounds like 100 years ago, but it was a real reality, right? This innovation came, and the cars didn't work. So this individual, and most of the people in this community are familiar with the Lincoln Highway, right? And in 1913, the road that goes right by here I was prepared for the courthouse, so it's one of the roads right here. And it was dedicated, and in the words of its creator, Carl G. Fisher, the Lincoln Highway was created with two goals. The first one was to build a coast-to-coast concrete highway connecting the country from Times Square, New York, to Lincoln Park, San Francisco. First highway to go across. So if you drove across the country, you drove through Jefferson in this region. The second goal was to make the Lincoln Highway an object lesson that would stimulate, as nothing else could, the building of enduring highways everywhere that would not only be a credit to the American people, but that would also mean much to the American agriculture and commerce. So the Lincoln Highway was the first road an automobile could drive across the country, and it was funded by private and corporate donations to create. The idea was embraced by an enthusiastic public who said, I want more highways. And it soon was something that began to scale, and other highways were named. And Americans' enthusiasm for good roads led to the federal government creating the Federal Highway Administration and the Interstate Highway System. So the success of the road that went by here is what innovated to come up with our modern day interstate system. I don't know how many people didn't know that, but that's a pretty big innovation that came through here. So my aspiration is the same two goals that Carl Fisher's goals were. One is, just as the Lincoln Highway was the first infrastructure needed to enable innovation of automobiles, the forge here will be the infrastructure for people in this community to create the digital innovations of tomorrow. And second, just as the Lincoln Highway became a model for the nation, that this forge, we aspire it to be a model to revive, rebuild, and restore other rural communities. So thank you for having us. We're going to be going through some very engaging speakers that I think that by the end you're going to go, why didn't you have 10 more? But the first person I'm going to introduce is someone who I can tell you has selflessly led this project from your community and engaged the other community leaders to make sure it succeeded. And please welcome Chris Deal.
This is fun. So first, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for making it out. For those of you who aren't from Jefferson, from Greene County, to our visitors, welcome to Jefferson. We are so excited to have you here today. As Linc said, my name's Chris. I am a proud native of Jefferson, of Greene County, and it is just so rewarding, so inspiring to see this group of people here tonight. My very brief story, I grew up on a farm just outside of town, and then I left for college. And then 3 years ago, 13 years after leaving, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to come back and to talk it over with my wife and to choose to raise our family here. And I can honestly say it is one of the best decisions that she and I have ever made. So since then, I've been privileged to work with the Linc, to work with the Accenture team, to take this idea, this crazy idea, and try to bring it to a reality. And so today is a fun day. We get to step back, we get to celebrate what we've accomplished thus far. So I'm going to take a minute to recognize just a few of the groups of the people who have helped with this. I will say that this, I feel, is the first insurmountable challenge that we've faced with this project, because it is not possible to give due recognition to every person, to every organization that really did make this possible. So no, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of this community's heart, we are truly grateful for it. So that said, a very brief shout outs to some people who were wonderful through this. First, of course, Linc, Accenture, the entire team, thank you for the vision to do something like this, for choosing Jefferson, Greene County as a partner for it. To our training partners, our schools here, Greene County Community School District, Iowa Central, DMAC, it's so exciting to see this all come together. We've asked all of you to think outside of the box, and you have done just that to come up with this idea that we have that is the benchmark, the baseline for this. To all the financing partners who helped bring this together, the USDA, through Midland Power Cooperative, through Iowa Area Development Group, the state of Iowa, through the Iowa Economic Development Authority, the city of Jefferson, Greene County Development Corporation, Home State Bank, all of them had to work collaboratively to make all this happen. Jefferson Telecom, Jamie right here in front, thank you, not only from a financing perspective, but without the telecom's progressive approach to create the infrastructure we have here, this thing can't happen. To the design team, WSA Studio out of Columbus, John Bloom with Schemmer, Modus Engineering, thanks for coming up with the vision for the space. To the contractors, Woodruff Construction was our general on this. They did a wonderful job. And I do have to give a special thank you to Don Woodruff, not only as a partner, but also as an advisor through all of this. Don, your team was wonderful to work with. And thank you very much, because I learned a lot from you through this process as well. Now, my next one is volunteers, and to actually list all of the volunteers who were in that building who helped with it, again, not possible. A couple that were there, although the entire time. One, Nick Sorensen, he was there from the very beginning to the very end. We are absolutely blessed to have Nick as a part of this community. Nick, thank you very much. Peg Rainey also, with what she's done with Main Street, again, every step along the way, we had an advocate helping us make this happen. Thank you. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to my own family, my wonderful wife Tracy, my kids, my parents. Goodness knows that they were there in the background to pick up all the balls I was dropping as we were trying to figure out how to get this thing pulled together. I am beyond blessed to have them in my lives. Can we clap for my family? My wife. And then finally, to this community. There are so many stories, so many anecdotes of what it has taken to bring this together. The one that I love to bring up, April 3rd, 2018, this community came together and resoundingly passed a unique idea for a school initiative, a $35 million project. And that day, that support is what gave us the infrastructure, the baseline, the backbone for where we are today. So thank you, community, thank you, everybody. One more round for all of the people who helped. He's going to let me talk a little more. This part will be brief, but this is going to be the fun part. So that list of people, that short, believe me, that was a short list compared to the first one. This is what's special about rural Iowa. This is what's special about what we have here. We care about each other, and we want to see each other be successful, and we act on that. We're creative. We aren't afraid of hard work. It's in our DNA to overcome challenges. All of these characteristics are what are being coupled together with opportunities that we haven't seen for generations. Technology is flattening the playing field. We have connectivity in Greene County that rivals anywhere in the world. We have a fantastic education system, and for our visitors, this is our public education system, mind you, right here that creates all of these opportunities. Someone can live in Greene County and work for a company anywhere in the world, and at the same time, give their kids opportunities that are as good as anywhere in the world. This was unimaginable just a few years ago. Now is the time for rural, and we're seeing it happen right here. So today is a culmination of the effort. It's a day to celebrate, and we should. But it's important, in fact, it's critical that we view today not as the end, but as the beginning. We've got lightning in a bottle right now here in Greene County. Our challenge is to take full advantage of it. We need to find ways to continue to set a precedent for how a rural community can thrive. No matter who you are, if you're a business owner, a retiree, a student, or an artist, whoever, you need to play a part to make it happen. So let's keep this rolling. And in the process, let's start to tell our story even more. What we're doing doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be, a well-kept secret. We're creating a roadmap for other communities to follow. We're showing what is possible in rural. I'm incredibly excited about what is to come for us, and consequently for rural Iowa and rural America. Again, thank you everybody here once again. Let's enjoy this, and then let's get back to it. Thanks, everyone.
He's done. Check, make sure he was actually done. So the last year I've spent on the Empower Rural Iowa Task Force, and so Governor Reynolds put that together, pulling people from across the state with a heart for revitalizing rural, and it's so wonderful to see the results of that. But it's just an honor to introduce a governor who's got such a heart and a knowledge of what it takes to revitalize rural Iowa and cares. So please join me in welcoming Governor Reynolds. Thank you.
Thanks, Linc for that really nice introduction, and thank you for believing that this was all possible. It's been a pleasure to work with you. You all have worked with him, I'm sure. He's been in the community a lot, and you know he's got a lot of ideas, and they're moving very fast, and you got to work hard to keep up with him. But if you do, I guarantee you, you're going to have some great success, so thank you. I want to recognize the Lieutenant Governor, who is with me tonight. He has been a big part in all of this as well. We are both super pumped to be back in Jefferson, especially for this really important night. The Forge is a remarkable project on so many levels. It is the result of a strong vision, a lot of hard work, and what I believe is Iowa's brand of collaboration. I want to thank Accenture for taking this successful Forge model and looking beyond the urban centers to rural Iowa. I too want to thank so many other partners who are here today, from Chris to Facebook to Corteva AgriScience, Greene County's Community School District, Jefferson's economic development leaders, and the community, Iowa Central and DMAC. I mean, and like you said, you could go on and on. Congressman Khanna, welcome back to Iowa. And I want to say thank you for your continued work in Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C. on behalf of job growth and innovation in rural America. From the day I learned about this concept, I knew it would be something that we would be talking about for a long, long time, and I want you to know I have been ever since. When I'm traveling the country and talk turns to work-based learning, STEM education, building America's workforce, or the big things we have happening in our small towns, I always talk about Jefferson and the Forge and the great things that you have going on. It's kind of like, it's the kind of innovation that I've been able to highlight as a member of the White House Advisory Board on Workforce Development. But that restored Odd Fellows Lodge we're celebrating today provides more than just a home for innovation. It truly is a launch pad for careers, it's a hub for lifelong learning, and it's a model for small towns all across our state and across this country. Through today's grand opening, we're showing the world that this is the place for innovation, for entrepreneurship, for inspiration, because guess what? This is Iowa. We're the right, yes, you should clap for that. It's Iowa, it's who we are. We are the right place for disruptive thought leaders from the heart of the heartland to share ideas with the like-minded innovators of Silicon Valley that spark cutting-edge startup businesses and ignite local growth. A place where passionate policymakers on either side of the political aisle recognize shared community needs, formulate effective strategies, and deliver results together. Where higher education isn't a single paved highway, it's a diverse network of various channels, all leading to student success and a world-class workforce. Rural Iowa stands at the crossroads in the digital revolution, and we're working every single day to harness its power to fuel a rural renaissance in small towns across our state. You know, as I stand here today and think about all of those initiatives that were backed by bipartisan support, many of them unanimously, the Governor's Empower Rural Iowa initiative, the Future Ready Iowa initiative, the STEM Council, I think the message is clear. In Iowa, we know how to come together, to think differently, and to build an Iowa that shatters expectations. And that is what I love about the Forge, because every one of those initiatives that I just talked about, they're on display here. It's a shining example of what's possible when shared vision meets drive and ambition. Our brand of collaboration has dynamic public-private partnerships as its trademark, and this community knows how to build relationships that matter. And I see it every time I'm in Greene County. It's been remarkable to watch each and every milestone, from hosting Future Ready Iowa Summits to capturing a Community Catalyst grant to launching the Rural Scholarship Program this past June. And now as we sharpen Iowa's competitive edge with this new incubator, just think about it, 39 rural Iowa communities and 11 school districts will feed into the Forge, demonstrating real, meaningful impact for the entire region of Iowa. So I'm proud to be a partner with Forge as we fill our talent pipeline with some of the most job-ready, STEM-savvy workforce in the country. And most importantly, I'm excited to share your message with our young people and those that are looking to begin their next chapter, that you don't have to leave Iowa to launch your career, to make a difference in your community, to have a global impact. It's all right here. We've been recognized for everything from the way the state is run, to educational excellence, the productivity of our workforce, to quality of life. And I love to say this, the #1 state for jobs, it's not Texas, and it's not New York, by the way. What is it? Iowa, that's right. We got it here, we got it going on. There's a lot of opportunity. So, as you're going to hear over and over, and as you heard Chris say, the Forge is blazing a trail for other businesses, school districts, and local organizations to follow. And it leads straight through rural Iowa. You'll hear me say all the time that Iowa is one big small town, and our greatest asset is our people. You're the reason why the heart, soul, and spirit of Iowa will always remain in our small towns. And I just want to say a huge heartfelt thank you to the partnerships and the get-it-done attitude that I see every time I come here. So we're looking forward to taking what you've done and scale it all across the state. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to come back and see all the great things happening. Thank you.
So soon after we started talking about this initiative, there was one company that said, they just raised their hand right away and said, we're going to be part of this. We are going to be part of this revitalization initiative. What can we do to help? And that was Corteva AgriScience. And I'm thankful that they signed up early to be part of this. And I'd like to introduce Corteva AgriScience's Chief Information Officer, Debra King.
We raised our hand and we said, how can we come in? And just seeing the energy and excitement. Can you hear me now? Okay. Seeing the energy and excitement in this room and that we have the Forge is just incredible. And I am so honored to be here representing Corteva and being a part of this program. So I'm here representing Corteva, but I'm also here representing a woman in tech who built her career while raising a family as a single mother and as a sole breadwinner. When I first started school, technology was not cool yet. Hard to believe, it's a long time ago. But it wasn't. But I chose a career in computer science because I love science, but I also needed a job where I could make a living right outside of work. So I chose that path, and it wasn't easy. At the time, there were only 3 female computer science majors in the school. It was hard, the work was challenging, and I felt isolated. And I didn't have a program like Rural Forge that could help me and could give me support. There were so many times where I thought, this isn't for me, I can't do it, and I almost quit. But I didn't. I persevered, and I got through it, I got my degree, and I learned so many invaluable lessons along the way. I learned that I could do anything I set my mind to. If I had the time, put in the effort, I turned to people for help when I needed, and it has been an incredibly, incredibly rewarding career for me. Making the choice to have a career in technology was the best choice that I've ever made. When you have in-demand skills, you have choices, you have flexibility, you have opportunities. And these are things that you need in life because life throws challenges at you along the way. And again, I don't know what I would have done when I think back to my life if I hadn't had that background and that foundation in technology. Because of my experiences, that's why I'm so passionate about encouraging and urging young adults to go into a career in technology, especially women. We need more people in tech, and this is one way that Corteva could help. And the Rural Forge program is completely aligned, perfectly aligned with Corteva's purpose, which is to enrich the lives of those who produce and those who consume, ensuring progress for generations to come. At Corteva, we're committed to quality food, to sustainability, and to ensuring that we have enough food to feed the world, and also in our local communities. We have many programs where we encourage our employees to really get involved in local community activities that they are passionate about. They deliver meals to those that are in need. They grow green gardens in communities. They encourage local STEM programs. And this is something that we need to do. because we need the talent, we need to help our communities, but we also need to create a diverse and talented and inclusive workforce. There are many jobs. So I heard everyone here say there are jobs in Iowa, we need the tech talent in Iowa, and we need it, and we have it at Corteva. We need the diverse representation of those in rural communities. We need to understand, we need to know what the perspectives are from our rural farmers and our rural consumers, so we can develop the products that are really important to those and make sure that we support them and help them with exactly what they need. We're always looking for opportunities to really engage in our community to help make sure that these tech careers that are so important to us to give us the talent pipeline are more accessible. So one example is we partnered with Accenture on the Girls Coding Camp earlier this summer, and that was a great, inspiring opportunity, and we're looking forward to continuing our engagement there. Another way that we're helping is that we're donating $187,500 for scholarships to the DMAC Computer Learning Program, which is the pipeline into the Forge. And so that's 25 scholarships of $7,500 apiece for 25 students, and I am so excited to announce the first recipient of the scholarship who is here with us tonight. So Sephora Khan, please stand up and please join me. Scholarships to other students like Sephora. We need those students who are committed to a career in tech, who will put the time necessary in to be successful, who will turn to programs like the Rural Forge for the support to get through. So we are looking for more students. The deadline is November 1st for the spring semester. You can find information about it on the DMAC website. Please take a look and encourage others to attend. And our support of the tech education is just the start. So there are jobs in Iowa, and we are going to give some of those. So we are creating internships and entry-level positions for graduates like Sephora, and I can't wait in a few years when they come knocking on my door and they bring a fresh perspective to agriculture, they bring new technical skills to really drive the digital age, and they bring the passion that companies like Corteva needs in order to make the place a better world. So the world's a better place. Thank you.
One note on that DMAC scholarship, you know, we're in Iowa Central Territory here, but apply for that DMAC scholarship, rural scholarship, if you live here, because we've got two incredible leaders in Rob Denson and Dan Kinney, and they've worked out, if you're in Iowa Central and you apply for it and get it, that they can transfer that money around and do that. So that's pretty amazing. Thank you guys for doing that. So our next speaker will give you hope in the future of our leadership. And she is a Greene County School graduate and a University of Iowa student, Regan Lamoureux.
Okay. Hello, like Linc said, my name is Regan Lamoureux, and I'm currently a sophomore at the University of Iowa studying computer science. I graduated from Greene County High School in 2018, and so I'm going to be telling you a little bit about my journey and experience with the Forge. So I became interested in computer science seemingly later than most people do, because I didn't take a single computer science class until my senior year of high school. Computers and coding were always something that I was really interested in, but figured would never be something that I actually could learn. And then at the beginning of my senior year, I just decided to take a coding class in the language C++ because I had an empty space in my schedule and I needed to fill it with something. In the beginning, I didn't feel like coding really came naturally to me or that I was even very good at it, but with a lot of practice and encouragement from my teacher, Mr. Wiley, I improved a lot and realized that this was something that I could pursue as a career. With this thought in mind, I was then given the opportunity to job shadow at the Forge in Des Moines with Spencer Hardin. It was a really eye-opening experience to see what a career in the tech field would look like, and after that visit, I knew I wanted to work in tech. So then I moved to Iowa City and began college at the University of Iowa, and I decided to study computer science. And while I was there through my first year, I maintained contact with Linc Kroeger in the progress of building the forge in Jefferson. And because of this, I was then given the opportunity to do an internship with the Chan Zuckerberg BioHub for 10 weeks in San Francisco. And the BioHub is a medical research company founded by the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative that does research in many different scientific fields. There I worked with the data science team, and more specifically on image processing and image manipulation. I also learned so much at my internship, not just about tech, but about areas of science that I had never even heard of. And it all started because of the opportunities right here in Greene County. And these are opportunities that any student at Greene County can take advantage of that they wouldn't have had previously. For any student that might think that tech or computer science is something that they can never be a part of, I would tell them that they're completely wrong. There wasn't really anything advanced about my particular set of skills. I just took advantage of the opportunities that I was given. There's a lot of big changes going on in Greene County, and I, for one, am really excited to see where it takes us. I would like to give a big thank you to Congressman Khanna for providing this opportunity, not only for me, but for other students. Thank you to Linc Kroeger for keeping me involved with the Forge and encouraging me through my internship and studies. And thank you to the community just for all the support that they've given me. Thank you.
So you think of an innovative technology, it's pretty quick to think of a company like Facebook. And especially for me, growing up in rural Iowa, where the historical standard has been you graduate high school, you probably leave the state either before or after college. And so Facebook for me, what's great is my family who left Iowa, I can stay connected with them, and it really is it's a wonderful thing. I'm so grateful that Facebook has decided to come today and to help grow this program in this area. And I'd like to introduce the next speaker, Will Castleberry, the Vice President of State and Local Policy.
And Regan, next time you see Mark Zuckerberg, will you put a good word in for me? So there have been a lot of thank yous, and I just want to do one quick to Rob at DMAC. You guys have been great in ensuring, helping my team guide and implement us in implementing a digital skills program and scholarship here in Iowa that is having a real impact. And Congressman Khanna, thank you for being such a staunch advocate of the U.S. tech industry. The Congressman is doing a great job in Washington protecting U.S. companies like ours so we can help train people here in Jefferson and in similar communities around the country. And thank you, Governor Reynolds. An economy as strong as Iowa's does not happen overnight. I met the governor when she was just a lieutenant governor. She flew out, no offense. You're a young man, the sky's the limit. When she was just a little lieutenant governor, she flew out to our headquarters and sat down with our executive team and explained why Facebook needed to be in Iowa. And she was passionate and she was determined and she was successful. A year later, we broke ground in Altoona and have invested $1 billion in the state so far. Thank you. Because of you and so many wonderful Iowans, we have a very, very special relationship with the Hawkeye State. And with that, we're committed to helping Iowans develop the tools and skills they need to flourish in an increasingly digital economy. We've provided more than 80 community action grants to schools, STEM programs, and other projects in Iowa. And last year, we kicked off a local partnership with DMAC to offer digital skills and marketing training. So we've been working with them more, and we have an announcement this evening. We are going to expand our work with DMAC to include the Carroll campus and other rural Iowa areas. In addition to continuing our current program for an additional 2 years, we're providing additional scholarship money for students who want to go on and get complete their full digital marketing certificate. And we're going to launch a new program where we offer one-on-one career training and job placement for people who complete the program. Our hope is that by working with you and the people on the stage, we can help folks get the skills they need to thrive. Facebook is absolutely honored to be a small part of this community and of the great state of Iowa. Thank you so much for being so on.
You know, if you follow rural revitalization at all, our next speaker doesn't need an introduction when I say I can't think of any person in this country doing more advocacy for rural Iowa and the nation, especially for a state they don't live in. So I am so grateful to be introducing the United States Congressman, Khanna.
Thank you. Thank you, Linc Kroeger is simply one of the greatest visionaries for Tech to Rural. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you, Prince Steele, for believing in this and seeing it to completion. Thank you to Corteva for your scholarships. The governor's very popular in my district. And a number of people say, please say hi to the governor. Governor, thank you for your leadership and all that you're doing for this program and for partnering with Silicon Valley. Accenture, thank you for all of your leadership. Thank you to Facebook. Thank you for everything you're doing to step up in rural America. And Regan, I loved your speech. You've got a great future. I will be brief. I think when the history of America's technology leadership is written, they're going to mention Silicon Valley, but there are going to be 2 additional chapters. They will talk about John Adenoza, who invented the first computer in Ames, Iowa. And now there's going to be an additional chapter. And they're going to talk about Linc Kroeger and Chris Steele and Jefferson for having cracked the code for technology to rural America. What you're doing here matters a lot. It matters because some of the kids here are going to get to stay here and be able to live their dreams without having to move. But it matters because, especially being in Washington these days, it seems like so much is off in our country. So much is negative, so much is divisive, and you're offering this country a model of hope. You're offering a sense of helping stitch us back together, because the tech companies aren't here out of charity. They're here because they recognize this is a partnership where you have people who have great work values, who have a great education, who have an extraordinary community college system, where you don't have to pay that much for housing as you do in my district. This makes economic sense. And we're partnering, if we can do this in Jefferson, Iowa, think about if we replicated this around the country, around the state, in other rural communities. This is how we're going to lead the 21st century. This is how we're going to win and make sure America stays ahead in technology. I'll just end with this. I was very moved when we were talking with the governor about her story. And she told me that, I didn't know this till I got here, that she finished her college degree at the age of 57 as a grandmother. And then goes on after that to become a governor who's one of the leading advocates for STEM. You see, in my own story, my parents were immigrants. I had someone when I was in college say, oh, Ro, you could never get elected in this country, go work on the Hill. But this country thought different. At the age of 40, they elected me to represent arguably the most powerful economic district in the world. Our nation is still a land where dreams are more possible than anywhere in the world. And Jefferson, Iowa is reminding us of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Khanna, for everything you've done for us. Thank you. Really. So one of the most important developments that happened through this whole pathway is this little company of 350 people got acquired by this little bit bigger of a company of 480,000 people called Accenture. And they immediately showed me their colors of who they were, because with my leadership, and thank you, Andrew Hopkins, and part of the integration of this, of assimilating into the company, they talk to you and they say, hey, what are you doing and what do you want to do? And I shared this project, and this project to me is something that was nights and weekends, right? I had my day job. And the first thing he said is, this is too important. This is really important. You need to focus on this. And he said, do it full time, go. And as of September 1st, Accenture created a whole new division that Chad will be talking about, but how many companies do you know have a business responsibility and corporate sustainability and citizenship program who puts such one of your top people in your entire company on to lead it, and not just like a side thing to check a box to say you've got there. So I want to thank Chad Jerdee for this opportunity to work for Accenture and do this rural revitalization role, and welcome him to speak as our final closing speaker.
To really start by thanking Linc and his entire team for the investment of time, the commitment, the drive that it took to really launch the Forge. And for me, today is a really exciting day. I mean, at Accenture, we believe, and most of you are probably asking, what's Accenture? I'll explain that in a minute. But we really believe that companies are in business not just to make money, and we help companies make money and become more profitable, but we're here to help the society and to serve our employees. And we believe all companies play a role in economic development, which is at the heart of my new job, as Linc described, and building a stronger, better America and a stronger and better Iowa. We do have 480,000 employees globally, but we want to hire people in Iowa as well. On behalf of Accenture, I'd also like to convey my deepest thanks to Governor Kim Reynolds and Congressman Khanna for joining us today. It's certainly a privilege for me, and for their continued leadership and recognition of economic and educational impacts that technology and tech skills can have on our communities, particularly those away from an urban center. The future of work in rural America is important to all Americans, and it's encouraging to see this kind of bipartisan collaboration, and again, we're very proud to be a part of it. I do want to note that on a personal level, this project is very important to me. I grew up on a farm in southern Minnesota. I am Minnesotan, don't hold it against me. Not unlike Jefferson, or near a community that was not unlike Jefferson. It was really once a healthy city booming, with a booming economy, but the packing plant closed when I was in high school in the mid-1980s. And the town, well, it's a beautiful place to live, has shrunk by about 25% in total population, in part because so many young people have gone, like myself, admittedly, have gone to cities to find better opportunities. And it still struggles to rebuild its economic base. So, I've personally witnessed the importance of building skills and creating jobs in the Midwest, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart, and I couldn't be more pleased to be here today. We're honored that you, as are we, are here to literally open the doors to our new Industry X.0 office that we call the Forge, as well as our new Forge Academy, a pilot project designed to make high-demand, high-value software development jobs more attainable in Iowa and other rural communities. A little bit about Accenture. We fundamentally help businesses reshape their strategies, become more competitive, and increase their performance as a business. I mean, at our heart, we're a consulting company, and we do that by helping them deploy and utilize cutting-edge technology. The Forge is a part of what we call Industry X.0, And Industry X.0 is about reinventing the manufacturing and the process of developing new age products using emerging digital technology. So think of connected devices, think of new manufacturing processes, and think of devices that are much in products like toasters that are becoming much more intelligent and connected. We believe that manufacturing in the future will dramatically increase demand for people with software and tech skills. That, in fact, is the next generation of manufacturing and product development. More importantly, it has the potential to make American business more competitive globally and create jobs for Americans. In order to achieve this, our workers need the education and training required to fill the digital economy jobs of today and tomorrow. And for us, it is about doing good, but it's also about filling that talent pipeline. And with an organization on our scale, you can imagine the kind of demand we have for these types of skills. This has and will be a group effort. Our partners at Corteva and Des Moines Area Community College are integral to the long-term success of the Forge. The collaboration we announced last June to advance tech skills for rural-based students and educators represents a critical part of the talent pipeline that will feed into the Forge Academy. We thank them and our friends at Facebook for the commitment to growing tech skills and creating promising professional journeys in rural communities. And with our stakeholders and clients in government, business, and education, we're taking critical steps to prepare our future workforce for success here in Iowa and around the world. The collaboration we're seeing and celebrating here today is about addressing the risk of leaving entire generations of Americans in urban and rural areas without work or the skills to acquire it. For us, the Forge and the Forge Academy are hallmarks of these efforts. What we are launching today represents our commitment and collaboration on two levels. First, as a part of our Industry X.0 initiative, our new Forge office is designed to reinvent industry and transform services using advanced digital technologies and software to create smart, connected products and services across all industries, such as transportation, healthcare, financial services, and smart cities. And we want people in Iowa to understand and be excited about those opportunities, particularly our youth. This is a facility poised to create jobs. We hope that as many as 30 over the next 5 years, depending on the demand for services that the facility can deliver. But more importantly, we hope it's a role model for other investments and collaborations between business, government, and education. Second, our Forge Academy will provide a tuition-free 4-month advanced software development program to enhance a student's skills following completion of a community college program. After successfully completing the Forge Academy program, a student can apply for a paid 6-month apprenticeship at the Jefferson Forge. Software development is the key link between our Industry X.0 work in the Forge, and that training will be emphasized at the Forge Academy. The value of what used to be dumb physical devices, machines, etc., is moving from the hardware to the software. Ultimately, it's the software that makes devices smart. What does this mean for you? Think about connected medical devices that can harness the power of artificial intelligence to improve quality of care. Intelligent field force equipment to improve worker safety. And production machinery that knows when it fails and gives you a heads up before it happens. We're bringing the new, as we call it, to Jefferson in the form of personalized services, safer working conditions, and many other things. To companies, they promise opportunities for new revenues, business models, and business outcomes. With the power of our people, our technology expertise, and a broad system of partners, Accenture develops and scales innovations that help address society's most pressing problems. We have a Skills to Succeed program in addition to the work we're doing here that's helped more than 600,000 people in the U.S. acquire skills or get a job or build a business. And by the end of this year, 2019, we will have 450 apprentices trained in 16 U.S. locations, creating career pathways for talented individuals who haven't had the opportunity to work in the tech industry. So whether it's Skills to Succeed apprenticeships, the Forge Academy, we're preparing for a future of work that opens doors for people for exciting and promising career journeys. I love that my own journey and my own path has actually brought me back to a place that reminds me of my home. Our hope, with your help and the success of this forge, is that with the right training and the right opportunity, all journeys can lead to a better life. With your help as a community and the participation and commitment of everyone on this stage, we can make the forge an important milestone of innovation and jobs creation right here in Jefferson, and an important part of a promising journey for all who attend the Forge Academy. I'd like to end by thank you for spending your evening with us. It's fantastic to see such a great turnout, and we're really excited to work forward and help create the future at Jefferson. Thank you.
So I open with remarks that you're going to hear from people where you're not going to feel alone at the end. So what do you think? Do you feel alone, or do you feel like you have people here? Thank you. So that concludes the day, and there are no activities left, so I don't know. How long can people hang out here? Is there a peg or somebody? A little bit. But anyway, we're done for the night, and thank you for coming. And look forward to seeing people come through the pipeline and getting them into the Forge Academy. Thank you.
I want to thank you.